Hello and welcome to Newsmaker Live. We want to thank you for joining us this evening. We have two topics that we'll be discussing. First, we'll go to Monroe College and our guest, Jerry Joseph. Later on, we'll be joined by Dr. Maccabi Walcott and Roston Taylor. They'll be discussing manufacturing. But first, Jerry George, someone who is not unfamiliar to our set. He's not unfamiliar to our station. And we are always happy to have Jerry. Welcome, Jerry.
I thought I heard you said Jerry George. What?
Jerry Joseph.
No. I had not. I've only had water, Jerry. So I'm okay for now. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having us. We are very appreciative of you, giving us an opportunity to give the public an update on what's happening at Monroe College.
Monroe came 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago,
Yes.
and just swept over the landscape of
You
St.
feel it,
Lucia.
right?
Well, I mean, as far as education, yes, because we've had South Louis for the longest while, and it seems we're just...
Yes. Well, I think more than anything else, people were looking for opportunities in terms of education because, as you know, Sir Arthur Lewis Community College offers up to the associate's degree level, and people wanted to go a bit further. And I think with the arrival of Monroe College, it provided persons with access and opportunity right here on home ground to do bachelor's degree programs, as well as the MBA, the Masters in Business Administration.
What sort of impact would you say Monroe has had on St. Lucia?
Well, I think it's given people a chance to look at the educational offering. Previous to this, of course, as you know, a lot of people went to the University of the West Indies. Mm-hmm. Monroe College came with a breath of fresh air and said there is another way of looking at education, which is the American style of education. And I think it provided persons with an opportunity to take advantage of that and introduce people to something that is different. As you know, the University of the West Indies is based more on the British system. The American system, as you know, because you've gone to an American university yourself, is different in the sense that it calls for you to take ownership of your own education. And we like to say that education at Monroe College is that you build a partnership with your faculty as well as the members of your college. And I think that a lot of students like that. The credit system, of course, which is an American invention, basically says that if you have done a particular course at any other institution that is recognized and accredited, and it follows, the syllabus that is similar to what you are offering, you can grant credit for that learning and education. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people, especially in the beginning, took advantage of the opportunity for transferring credits from Sir Arthur Lewis Community College and were able to, complete their degree within a shorter space of time because the American system allows for that kind of transfer of credits.
Well, we like to say that, the British system was designed to make you fail and the American system to make you succeed.
Well, I don't know too much about that. Perhaps that requires
you tried not to know too much about that.
No, I think that every education system is built for the country where it operates. There are some things that are common in both systems, English, the British system, as well as the American system. And, people, especially in a democratic country, are free to choose whichever best suits their particular needs. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at Monroe College, you will see the great number of persons who have entered are working adults who have, sort of seen their educational careers, if you wish, sort of stopped because it was only associate's degree. They maybe have started their families. They were not able to move any further. Having a degree granting institution up to the bachelor's and up to the master's level was, an opportunity for people to say, well, I can stay right home and get what other people are getting without having to travel, etc.
I mean, let me put you on the spot a bit.
Yes.
I mean, as I said, I referenced Sir Arthur Lewis, and we have UE in Barbados, Trinidad, and Jamaica. And nothing of that sort. Well, we have not had a degree granting institution on our island before Monroe College.
Bachelor's degree, right?
Bachelor's degree, yes. And now, that Monroe is here, we see that these institutions are moving and trying to push forward to grant degrees. I mean, do you credit Monroe, do you credit yourselves for creating that impetus that would cause, you know, the South Louis and UWI to become more established here and then grant bachelor
Well,
degrees?
I think we can learn from the experience of the telecommunications companies. As you would well recognize, when there was only one, people were, you know, were either satisfied with what they were getting, and the company became complacent. And when other persons entered, people begin to see that, hey, something can be done differently, and something, you know, I can get a better service, I can get a better output. And so all it meant is, I wouldn't say that, and the research will have to sort of bear this out, but I think that any new institution entering the market here in St. Lucia is bound to have an impact, in the sense that people who were there before now have to take a different look at how they are providing opportunities for people who need it.
What do you think were some of the challenges that you faced when you first came in?
Well, I think one of the things is not understanding how the American system operated, because one of the things that we faced, and I would say especially in the beginning very brutally, is that people, you know, couldn't understand how you could have finished over a year period. The thing is that with the granting of credits, it takes you closer to the number of credits you need to graduate. And so people were thinking that perhaps it was not up to par with what you know, other institutions were offering. But I think that with the number of persons who have come through the doors of Monroe College and have been able to see what it is like, and we ourselves have been doing a lot of outreach in terms of educating people about the American system, I think people are now beginning to understand what it means in terms of transferring the credits and being able to finish. The other thing is Monroe College offers a 3-semester year. Most universities would offer 2 semesters.
Right.
So whereas you can, in the American system, complete 30 credits on average in a year, with our 3 semesters, you can do 45 credits. And so that takes you to your goal of getting a degree, you know, much faster. So, I mean, we have overcome some of these challenges, I must say, because as we go around, some of the questions concerning, you know, accreditation are not things that we hear as often as we used to before. In fact, the last time when we addressed a group of persons in the private sector, we were hoping that they would come with the accreditation, and I was the one who raised it and said, well, aren't you having any concerns? And they said, well, I think we've settled that already, judging from, you know, the explanations that we have been able to provide, as well as persons now are able to go on the net and check for themselves as to whether Monroe College is accredited. And I'm sure by now they would see that it is not a fly-by-night institution. My God, after being in existence since 1933 and 79 years later, there must be some merit to you know, an institution, you know, for its longevity, you know, over this period of time.
And by whom is Monroe accredited?
Monroe accredited, in the United States, there is 6 or 7 regional bodies that accredit all educational institutions in the United States, and Monroe College is accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education.
Okay. Now, in terms of Monroe's existence,
Yeah.
you have a finite number of people, presumably, who want to pursue higher education, but then you have various institutions offering higher education. What role do you see Monroe playing as far as fitting into our landscape, given the fact that you have our UWIs, you have other institutions overseas, and you have even more coming in? You know,
Well, no, I don't think any one institution can meet the needs of all the St. Lucian society. That is impossible.
So you're not competing?
Well, we're not competing with any local institution because, for example, Sir Arthur offers many more courses that we do. But what we do, I think we do very well, because we offer 6-degree programs in accounting, in business management, in hospitality management, in criminal justice, in IT, and in public health. And these are the areas that people have told us that they would like to see themselves move forward to or create careers for themselves. And so we see ourselves as basically assisting these people in the success that they crave. And these degrees are offered. Some of the courses are offered online. We have different methods of delivery. Of course, most of it in classrooms, but we do also offer the option of people completing some of their courses online. And I think one of the things that people like about Monroe is the flexibility of classroom or attending classes. You can start from as early as 9 o'clock in the morning and finish at 8 o'clock in the night, choosing courses to fit the flexibility of your own schedule. And I think this is something that people welcome. In terms of competition, obviously, we go after the persons who are looking for entry into the degrees that we offer. But I dare say that if persons want to pursue degrees other than what is offered here in St. Lucia, they have the option of going to the United States at the campuses in New Rochelle and in the Bronx in New York.
You know, a lot of these universities and colleges, they have fairs to attract potential students. How does Monroe in St. Lucia go about recruiting and attracting young people or even older people to come into school?
Well, I think over the last 5 years we've built strong partnerships with the private sector, because a lot of our students do come from the private sector. We have built strong relations with the public sector as well, and we do, through our Office of Admissions and our student services, do a lot of outreach in terms of helping students, as I said previously, understand the American system, understand, what is required of them by attending an institution like Monroe. So almost every day we're out in the field at the secondary schools. We're at different companies invite us to speak to their employees. We have our own information sessions out in the field in Vieux-Fort, in Dennery, in various communities. We have been all over. And I dare say that every day is an information session at Monroe College. You can come in any day to get the information that you need. Of course, we do quite a lot of advertising as well, so that people will know what we're offering. And anybody who is interested in programs at Monroe College can come in any day from 8 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock in the evening, speak to one of our counselors, and discuss your career options, your study options with us. And this is available. So we do outreach. We have just come from, for example, Dominica. Persons from our senior vice president, Dr. Alex Ephraim, and one of our counselors in the admissions office in St. Lucia was in Dominica. Very successful tour there, and we are going to go to Grenada. We are going to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Guyana. And our international office also does recruiting in several of the other Caribbean islands.
Are you recruiting for St. Lucia, or are you going to set up campuses on those islands?
No, not set up campuses. We are interesting students in studying at a quality institution, Monroe College. And they can choose any of the campuses for them to. Obviously, students are in the Caribbean, because of the proximity, the closer proximity to home, would choose a St. Lucia campus. The wonderful thing about this is that students have 2 semesters, They have the option of spending 2 semesters at the campuses in New York if they so desire. Once they have gained the St. Lucian experience and they wish the international flavored experience of New York, they can decide to make a transfer to New York for that.
Well, Jerry, I want us to talk about price, but we'll do that on the other side of the break. Also, I know that Monroe is preparing for some exciting events. So stay with us. We'll take a short break right now. When we come back, we'll continue discussing Monroe College with Jerry George. He is the Director for Outreach and PR at that institution. Stay with us.